Spread him around, and let's do what we can to help him get elected. No further ado, I'll give you Mr. Don Wagner.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you. I'll take this one. And first, I will tell you that that's tough to follow, and I don't usually go into this, but also lost a son, very different circumstances. I know how hard it is to tell the story and to hear the story. I know how important it is that we all hear and keep that in mind. All right, so it is tough to follow, but we do have to, and I appreciate, Bob, the opportunity to be here and to talk briefly. My name is Don Wagner. I am the endorsed Republican candidate in the 3rd supervisorial race, which is the race that was necessitated when Todd Spitzer ended up winning the DA's office, vacated the supervisorial seat, and there is a special election. The election is March 12th, and there are 7 candidates in the race. I'll talk in a minute about who some of the different candidates, but I'll tell you right now, the seat, if you're not familiar, and a lot of people aren't, the seat is the seat that encompasses Yorba Linda, and then you sort of come towards the ocean. Yorba Linda, Orange, Villa Park, Anaheim Hills, not all of Anaheim, Anaheim Hills, the unincorporated area, North Tustin, Foothill communities, the canyons, Majeska, Silverado Canyon, and then the cities of Tustin and Irvine. The seat is very much a Republican seat. In November, well, before November, it was roughly about 10 points plus Republican. After that day of registration nonsense and the games we saw in November, the count right now is roughly 4 to 5 points Republican. And we're talking here about a special election on March 12th, so it's coming up. We are 19 days when you get up tomorrow morning. So 20 days out, March 12th is a special election, and special elections always skew Republican. We're better at getting our voters to the polls in special elections. So the seat is very much a Republican seat. The seat is very much a winnable seat. And I want to start by saying thank you to CRA for the endorsement. I treasure it. I've been endorsed by CRA in a number of my prior races and am quite thankful that I have earned the endorsement again in this race. The candidates, quite simply, are some folks you may have heard of. Does the name Loretta Sanchez ring a bell?
Oh,
yeah. They keep recycling people. You know, Jerry Brown comes back in 2010. I was a kid and just sort of getting interested in politics and sort of watching, and Jerry Brown was the governor, and I go up to Sacramento to serve in the legislature, and there's Jerry Brown again. Well, they're recycling Loretta Sanchez as well. There are 7 candidates in this race, and the Democrats cleared the field. Loretta's the only Democrat. And she's running a Democrat playbook. We've had a couple of debates, and her strategy is very clear, and her message is very clear. The message is, no problem in this county can't be solved with more money. And I'm a Democrat. I know where to go get money. I go back to Washington, where I served for 20 years, and I'll get money. And I'll go up to Sacramento, where they're all Democrats. And I'll knock on the door, and I'll say, I'm here from Orange County. Give me money. You got a problem with homelessness? We'll solve it with more money. You got a problem with violence in our communities that we responded to by electing Todd Spitzer DA? I'll solve it by money. Not making any effort whatsoever to be thoughtful, to appeal to that majority that are voters like you and me. Why? 7 candidates, 1 Democrat. What's that make the other 6 of us? There are 6 Republicans in this race. I am the only one with a viable campaign. And I think that's in part why the Orange County GOP, why the CRA, why a number of college Republican groups that are really having a lot of fun taking the fight to the Democrats have endorsed me, is because they recognize I am the only viable candidate capable of beating Loretta Sanchez. I won't even bother naming a couple of the other Republicans. The problem we have in this county after November of 2018, and it was horrific, is that we're no longer in a position where we can pick a good, a better, a best Republican. It used to be great. You know, we could all pick our candidates. If my guy didn't win and your gal won, we knew there was still going to be a good Republican in that seat. And we don't have that luxury any longer. Because if I don't win this seat, it's not going to be one of these other Republicans. It's going to be Loretta Sanchez. And the trend we saw in November, this blue wave, continues. And by the way, if Loretta Sanchez wins this seat, Andrew Doe in Santa Ana, who's up in 2020, has a target on his back. They're going to take out Andrew, and the Board of Supervisors, like every congressional seat, like an increasing number of our Assembly and State Senate seats, go blue. That isn't me promising you that. That isn't me trying to scare you for my campaign's purposes. That's what the chairman of the Democratic Party said in the newspaper in the Orange County Register. That's what the Democratic Party of Orange County said on their Facebook page. Support Loretta Sanchez. We need to get Doug Chafee a friend on that board and continue the blue wave. And I'm here to say we're not going to let it happen. We can put a stop to it. We can show that the GOP is back, that we can win races, and that we will be relevant in 2020. We will save Andrew Doe. We will take back some of those congressional seats that we lost. Hopefully, God, hopefully all of them. We will take back those Assembly and Senate seats that we lost, or we will protect the ones that are up in 2020. That's what this race is all about. There are a couple of other Republicans in the race. One of them is particularly viable. It's not going to win, but she's polling 12%. I saw an insider Facebook post that a friend of hers, a mutual friend of ours, showed me. She is looking, on Monday night, she put it out, asking for 2 or 3 rolls of stamps so she can get back out in the mail. What is that, $100? 100 pieces of mail? The Orange County Employees Association has done 6 pieces of mail on behalf of Loretta Sanchez already. Somebody looking for 2 or 3 rolls of stamps is not a viable candidate. I've matched Loretta in fundraising. I, in a month, raised $250,000. The budget for the entire race is over $500. That's what it's going to take it to the Democrats. And the idea that you folks have come behind me to help make that happen is so touching. And I want to thank you for it. And I want to tell you, we're going to win this race. The polls are showing right now. The polls are showing. All right, so I'll tell you, there are 3 polls I'll tell you about. I'll tell you about mine. It's mine. Do you believe it? I don't know. We're actually out doing another poll tonight. But I asked my team, I want the truth. Give me a poll that tells me what I need to know, not what tells me what I want to hear. So I got a poll. It says Loretta Sanchez is getting 1/3 of the vote. Don Wagner is getting 1/3 of the vote. All the other Republicans are getting 1/3 of the vote. Get them out of the race. This is a landslide. Okay. The Realtors did an independent poll, and they published it, so you can see it. And one of my colleagues, I actually didn't mention this. I serve as the mayor of Irvine right now, and one of my colleagues on the council is a Democrat. And we're friendly, we get along. She came up to me the other Sunday, a week ago, said, Our polls say it's a dead heat. What do your polls say? The Democrat polls say it's a dead heat. I'm getting a third, Loretta's getting a third, all those other Republicans are getting a third. The Realtors poll, the published one, says I'm getting a third, Loretta's getting a third, all those other Republicans are getting a third. So we are neck and neck with Loretta and in a position to win this. We're in a position because we've got groups like CRA pulling together.